So if you've been to my blog, you know I've done a review on all Steven Universe episodes, at least up till the future season. I won't sugarcoat it, my feelings have always been mixed on this show. So much so, I was originally planning to just avoid the finale altogether, but then I started hearing that this final season, rebranded as Steven Universe Future, addressed criticisms of the past seasons and even tackled Steven dealing with depression and PTSD, which interested me as I've had my run-ins with depression over the years. Well, with the show having ended officially, I can say it definitely ends on a high note.
Here we are in the future and it's bright.
So rather than do individual episode reviews, I've decided to just do one whole video to sum up my thoughts, a season-long review of sorts, just because I don't want to repeat myself too often. While the season's first half is made up of quite a few individual stories that only hint at what's to come, my criticism of them would still feel too similar, that I'd just rather put the time to string my thoughts into this video.
I don't want to hear about it. I don't even want to think about it.
What is Steven Universe? For those unaware, which always seems to be more than I expect, Steven Universe is a Cartoon Network show. I remember when it first premiered, I only watched it after some recommendations. I enjoyed it fine and was curious to see more, but after a few episodes, interest quickly dwindled for me. I wouldn't say I thought it was bad, but the show's premise of a boy who's half magic alien being raised by magic aliens, I know I'm being basic here, relax, was pretty boring after a few episodes. The stories didn't excite me, the action felt standard, the humor was okay, the characters were actually solid. Problem was that they were never really placed in interesting stories to utilize their strengths, and ultimately, I just didn't care. Years later, I figured I'd give it a shot again after it won a poll to be reviewed by me, and I found out there was so much I missed out on. LGBT themes, episodes tackling abuse, loneliness, all that. And those things were impressive when the show actually focused on them. The overly long first season takes about 26 episodes to give us an understanding of the aliens, which wouldn't be a problem, but it takes another dozen or so episodes to see the ramifications another gem coming into the story would have. Then it takes some more time to reach an actual resolution to the first thread. Thankfully, the following seasons are shorter, so at least the threads don't feel as dragged out. But you commonly get long breaks between conflicts. One episode will see Steven helping his friends escape a fascist regime, only for the next to have little in the way of actual acknowledgement to the intense escape. That's why I've just never been able to connect with this show. There are interesting ideas at play, but they're ignored for episodes that just goof off on whatever thread is ongoing. It feels distracted, the lack of urgency is a mood killer, and it doesn't help that the comedic episodes are not always all that funny. I'm sorry, it just didn't work for me.
It was better than last week.
But then the characters would be good, the music would be good, the representation was nice, the lore was interesting enough, aliens at war for centuries, now hiding the child of the leader, and after so much the evil leaders are now on the hunt again, resulting in some long-held secret being revealed, it was a solid foundation. I just wish they would keep it up. Anyway, back to the future.
Here we are in the future.
Okay, as far as summaries go, I know that wasn't great, but you at least get it, right? Anyway, Steven Universe Future, set after a lackluster movie. Sorry. I really like the songs and Spinel. Anyways, focuses on Steven now having helped the universe. Oh, I get it. Now realizing that without people needing his help, he now feels useless and directionless. Things are worsened as his friends begin to drift away, resulting in him taking on hobbies, finding new ways to be helpful, and hiding his own insecurities. Except for the Steven Tag episode, which was cute, but felt more like it was the gems who were struggling with the change. So that one felt a bit off, all things considered. Anyway, this eventually results in Steven having a meltdown as no one quite seems to get him, or at least he feels like they don't.
I can just keep messing up and fixing things forever, and you'll never have to know or think about any of it. I'm a fraud. I'm a monster.
I like that this season focused on internal struggles, not just because it's important to teach kids about mental health, but because as a closer, it really did highlight what most shows often don't. The trauma people, especially kids, will get during insane adventures. Seriously, so many kids shows focus on world-ending threats, and it's odd that the kids just shrug it off. I mean, obviously I know why we don't see the later trauma, but it was nice to see this show tackle that, especially considering that Steven has mostly been raised around aliens. Seeing him struggle to fit in with people is something we really should have seen before, even more so when most of his relationships with the gems came from world-ending scenarios and a constant war. Why wasn't he in panic before? Well, as we learned towards the end, he had a safety net of friends, but as life changes, so does the net. Not to mention all that time, he had his mother to blame for all his issues. But now, since that dilemma is dealt with, Steven no longer has anyone to easily lay blame for his problems, however minor in scale. And with a majority of his prior problems being major problems, it's only natural that he only sees problems as major ones, which is brought up in this season, though I do wish it was discussed a lot more. Maybe have a whole episode where Steven did blow up over minor disagreements such as what to eat or do or, well, whatever.
How messed up is that? That I've gotten away with this for so long.
There's a part of me that wishes this season was condensed into a movie. Don't get me wrong, it's solid and easily the best season of the show, but I do think its themes and arc for Steven could have worked as a 90 or 100-minute feature to tie up the show, especially because it would have been better than the movie we got. Okay, I gotta talk the movie for a bit here. My point is, Steven struggling to change and move on from the trauma of the show would have made for a better subject for the movie, and it wouldn't be impossible to see this season as a movie, especially when the 5th season closed in a way that's more fitting for a finale, versus this season which closed, well, not bad, just kinda weak. Yeah, that last episode ain't bad, but I think I would have been more satisfied if they cut it with everyone hugging Steven to let him know things would be okay. Seeing Steven just drive off after an episode where he's upset with the gems not being very mopey about his decision to leave is not bad for a finale, just not as emotional as I would have liked.
Oh man, I can't take this anymore.
I will say this much though, unlike prior seasons, I did relate a lot to Steven. The final season of Steven Universe was definitely solid. Some missteps, and it's a shame that the show only got this consistent by the end, but I appreciate the effort in making its point about mental health. It truly was something special.